Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the initial recording for 360 Worldview, and this is the team at Transformation Agency. My name's Paul Cooper.
I'm Mike Slavin.
Max Shampkin.
Diana Fleischman.
Anna Margolis.
And James Fleischman.
So, yeah, we intend to start experimenting with 360 video and podcasting, and just really using it as an avenue to, share our worldview and invite people into our experience in a way that, some of the things that we want to communicate can be really felt and conveyed in a meaningful way. So we're just going to have a little, popcorn discussion about, we don't know quite what yet, but we'll see where it goes, and just make yourselves at home and enjoy.
Yeah. This is so it feels so distinct from from having a typical camera in the room, because it feels like they could be looking at any one of us. So I don't know, it's like the beam of attention can get split. So it kind of feels like having more like a person in the room than it does
Yeah, I agree with you entirely. It's like the anonymous observer is not just looking at you.
Yeah.
It could be split and
Or ignoring us entirely and looking at the carpet.
Totally. There's a sense that they get to enter into an experience of all these potential focal points instead of a predetermined focal point.
Yes, there's greater selectivity.
You get to kind of interact.
Yeah.
It's like a Goosebumps story, choose your own ending. You get to choose where your attention goes, rather than here are the cuts that the person wants you to see. In any type of video, especially if it's for marketing purposes, and you just read that article about marketing is evil, so that's been on my head, but it's interesting because you get this wide view, and so you can just go where you want as if you were in the room.
Super
cool.
Just now, whoever's talking, I'm swiveling, right? And they're getting to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So it's wherever they are, using their phone, or if they've got a headset on, I'm not quite sure what they're doing, but what you're doing, it's probably rude of me to speak. Sorry.
It's weird. It feels a bit more kind of transparent or authentic somehow. Do you know what I mean? It feels like you can actually feel a different dimension to it in some way. Do you know what I mean? It feels more like stepping into VR. When you have that state change. Something about this feels really inclusive of people in a new way.
We've teleported a ghost into the room.
Yeah, it's
there.
So the deepest view they could get in without physically being present.
Yeah.
Or it's you have to reveal more, because they could, if you take a second and move your phone around or turn your head around, you'll notice that you're in a chair and a part of the circle. And you can look around and probably see down the hall a little bit, and you got the fireplace right here. So it really, I think that's what you're talking about, right? It's it's more of a revealing type of experience, because you're letting them in the room with you, not just letting them see you on the wall.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I notice I feel less nervous about this than I do about a normal video camera.
I do too, and I
It's
think
really interesting.
Yeah. I wonder if it has to do with the fact of if you have a camera and you imagine the camera as a person, and then you put a person let's say in the corner of your room, and then the dude just staring at you. Just an hour while you're doing your video,
you're just talking and it just won't stop.
Yeah. But then with this, it's because there's so much space, then it doesn't feel like it's directly in this one position.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And on the other side, we have no idea who's even looking in.
I know.
Or what their world is or how many people are in that chair. So it's kind of, it feels very transparent here, but then almost kind of a veil on that side.
Yeah.
You've been working out?
Damn, you look fine.
Then we just shower them in compliments.
Yeah.
You've been trying really hard. You've been doing such a good job.
360 compliment machine. Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Just do it!
Yeah.
It also looks a bit like, you know, the Pixar character WALL-E.
That's what I was. Oh, sorry, really hard.
It's kind of like this, like WALL-E, so it does kind of it personifies it in an interesting way.
Or kind of like
Make it a
what's
name.
the
Dude,
thing
how
on Star
cool would it be to
Wars?
build a Wall-E robot that carried that housed like the
Oh, yeah.
box and everything, and we could just drive him
Drive
around.
it around.
If he could get up and down stairs.
What if we put him on a drone?
Dude. Put him on a drone so
Yeah,
he's
what if we put him on a
flying.
drone?
Sounds dangerous.
Perfect.
Does he come? I guess it's a he now. Does he come off of the tripod?
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it on a helmet or something, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I guess we need something to plug this into. But
That would be wild to drone it. Or to have like a. I guess indoors you'd want wheels.
Yeah, the 360 Fly is better for that kind of stuff, like for like droning or extreme sports or whatever. It's got the mounts and it doesn't have a separate box.
Got it.
But this is really high res
I like it.
and yeah, it'll be really. It feels really cool. I think it's gonna be fun to interact with.
Well, and also like if we can start like getting out the even just like the cardboard like TA
Yeah.
templates so that like you could then put the phone into it and like literally like be in VR. Like that's like gonna be like a whole because it's cool on your phone.
Yeah.
But then you can also put it into like the headset, like at varying like degrees of, refinement and then try that. Which is cool.
I want to be able to do that with you guys when I'm not.
It'll make it way better when you're not here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have one?
Nope.
You will. That doesn't have the API like
not yet.
quite done yet, but
But that's where it's headed.
it's headed there
So
very
then
soon.
we can be broadcasting this, and the people who are sitting in that chair can real time communicate things with us.
Yes.
Absolutely. How cool is that going to be?
So
Like,
good.
I never had the same
we could put the comment box up on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then be able to see the questions and then like interact with a group of people that are, joining
Yeah.
us in VR.
Amazing.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
That's really cool.
And we could bring you in on a computer and then give you your own chair and like put you
Yeah.
like over there.
I like
That's
that
true.
one.
Skyped in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
And soon enough they'll have like haptic feedback suits, so you could like feel us hug you. And,
Tickle you.
Pseudo Fondo to you, aka so they wouldn't feel anything.
Yes.
that's right. They would just be so unconscious. So for you.
It's that good. It's that good, guys.
Who are you, Chuck Norris?
It's interesting because it feels like, with everything that we've been through as a team, this does feel like the next kind of graduated step for us. Like, it feels like very natural to be sitting around in conversation with people in this way.
Yeah,
It does.
that's good.
Had lots of chats.
Crazy learning curve. Like, remember like the first time that we did the values videos, or the first time that most of us were in front of a camera at all, and like how like scary like that whole thing was, and then now like, the level of comfort has increased so much, which is pretty cool.
I wrote that in my post today that I haven't posted yet,
Yeah.
about how in my first video I can see I had a tear streak down my face because I was crying before I got in front of the camera.
I remember that.
One day I'll be good enough at editing. Just take care of
Let's
it.
give you some more tears.
Why is that
That's
tear
your
legs?
Then you say that, you're like, how do you get likes on Facebook? Tears.
Just cry, man. Just cry. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that was super intense.
Bless you.
First sneeze in 360.
Oh,
Ever.
revolutionary.
Done.
Yeah. I wonder what is that about cameras that evoke emotion to that degree? Is it like the sense that it could be anyone, like observing us? So that like it's like kind of becomes like this. It's like this variable where like literally anyone in the world could be watching it. So if we have like whatever our judgments are like about ourselves, we might think our parents might watch it, or friends from high school who like made fun of us, or like it could be like anybody. And then, like I just wonder like what that is like about cameras that like cause that like response in people.
I think for me it's like the perpetuity piece that like whatever's coming out is
It's
captured
like there forever.
for thanks.
Forever until you're dead.
Nope,
Then
it'll
it
still be there.
continues. Then it continues.
Unless it's Snapchat.
Yeah, it's true.
True.
Yeah, there's tribes in Africa that get really offended if you take a picture, like
Yeah.
because they think you're like stealing a part of their soul. But like at a really high degree of subtlety, I can see where they're coming from, because in their world, like nothing ever gets made solid. Like you know what I mean? And so to like snap a picture of them and freeze them in some form or doing something or whatever, like now
Yeah.
it's solid.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you see what I'm saying? It's
Totally.
so it's an interesting thing, because it freezes it.
And that speaks to like here, like, which is in a lot of ways the other side of the spectrum, where we like hardly have a sense of ourselves independent of the solid like this is who I am, these are all my pictures, and like it's almost like we're constantly interacting with those things made solid, and that's like what we've become. It's like it's like how people relate to themselves these days, especially kids that just like they grew up on social media. Like it kind of came in for us like still like kind of toward like we were in our teens or whatever, but like, yeah, it's just interesting to think about. But like there's that feedback loop of like this is who my identity is, and like made solid like throughout our upbringing. But yeah, that's fascinating. I could see that causing some real conflicts, like with some tourists that didn't know better. You know,
Just get it all up in the face of someone. Like click, 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 click.
My little brother was always like trigger happy with the camera, and so he like almost got in a few fights.
Andrew,
Philip.
Philip.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a fascinating world we live in. Cool new technology, like
Yeah,
just changing the terrain like all the time.
totally.
So
I really liked what you said in your article, Mike, where it sort of like spoke to the democratization of this whole like ability to transmit and amplify information digitally.
Mm-hmm.
Like the limits have just dissolved.
It's changed so much. Like if you think about the resources that it would take for a television studio, like to broadcast something, and now like, you know, of course at a much smaller scale, like we can do it like live, wirelessly on our phones to like, you know, people who we've come in contact with through our life. But that's like pretty revolutionary considering that like the information environment used to be so like big, like these big rivers at the top that was just like flooding in, and now there's been way more like space opened up for like this like more like, I don't know, kind of one-to-one peer-to-peer interactions.
And like collaboration too, like Wikipedia and stuff like that.
True, yeah.
You know?
I feel like when you take the kind of financial ceiling off things, or like the sort of the buy-in amount, right, of something, then it gives the opportunity for like truth to prevail by simply like bubbling to the top. You know, like this gives us like a chance to just put stuff out, and like then you just get to see what's popular without like manipulation so much.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's interesting because it still feels like we're kind of acclimating to it, because you still see like it's almost like people, although there's greater selectivity, like we have greater choice in like the media we consume, it's almost like it's creating more and more like disparate worldviews, like in like local communities or whatever. Like someone that I'm sitting next to could be farther away from me than they used to be, because of like they could just have an entirely different information diet. Like they're like reading Supreme Patriot or whatever, and like getting all this conservative news, and somebody else is like reading anti-media or something. You know, these platforms that didn't exist a few years ago, but are like even like farther on the ends of left-right spectrum. Like the spectrum has gotten even more granular. So I wonder. Yeah, I don't know.
I think
It would be beautiful.
I think it
Yeah.
like
There was dialogue.
it presents us with a really interesting paradox, because we're already in a situation where loneliness and disconnection is like becoming like endemic almost.
Yeah.
You know, especially amongst like middle-aged men. You know, suicides are up, and so like and I think that's a byproduct of what you're talking about. Like the more disparate the worldviews become, the less connectivity there is like readily available to those people, and so they like, especially like with the way people explore online under the like illusion of anonymity, so they like live out all of their like dysfunction online, and then like are in this very separate world from all the people that they interact with, and so like they just like find themselves like super isolated.
Because no one remembers them.
Right, and like how would you explain it to them, like, because the worlds are so, you know what I mean, and like all the mental gymnastics you've done to like cope with your own, like, you know, all of that stuff, like to really get to know somebody's gonna have to like get shared, and like the farther away you get, the harder it is. And so I think like back to that thread of the separate worldviews and you know, technology making that increasingly possible. It's also really cool because it's gonna like cause a resurgence of like small groups that come together and come into shared realities. You know what I mean? And then like all of this differentiation can happen.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so, and then like the more like truthful and like heart-centered and like aligned the shared realities that are being created are, they'll all like inform like the larger whole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then some very like probably interesting interactions among those like
Totally.
groups will start to emerge, and then like
Right.
like the human, like it's almost like the human body of humanity will start to animate, like the hands and the legs and like
Exactly.
things like that will start to become like more apparent.
Interesting.
It reminds me of the whole like synergy piece of like the autonomous differentiated agents that are, like where the diversity creates the synergy, like so yeah, like it seems like the description of like small groups of people coming into a shared reality who are autonomous and diverse, coming into relationship with each other in elegantly ordered complexity or what have you, is those like creates the animation of those body parts.
I imagine the differentiation like happens before the body parts like start talking to each other, so it's like
Yeah.
you can kind of like go out but then back in.
Yeah. That's cool. This is like evoking some cool imagery, because it's like, it's almost like culture what felt like it was homogenized in a way, or like it just became so like the strands of thought within everyone was just so similar. And now with the internet, it's just like it kind of like got all like more like so different, like all these different pockets and bubbles, but like with like discoverability of people who share similar, you know, ideas is way higher as well. So like almost like those portals, like
Right, so in that kind of like chaos, like of all the different worldviews, it created this space where like like minds could like shuffle around and like
Yeah.
find each other, and then like
And
you
then
know the anti-fragile, like the most anti-fragile parts would prevail, like kind of prevail.
inside of that, like, disorder.
Yeah.
Fascinating. So yeah, this is a real like reconfiguration happening, and it's so crazy that we like we're able to like create like a cheat code. Like, yeah, we don't even care about like geography anymore. Like, we're just gonna like build these like glass windows into nowhere, but everywhere at the same time.
Yeah.
Like,
Different
what?
dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we ran out of space. Let's make more.
Yeah.
Well, this is a cool conversation. Let's leave our friend here with a couple questions before we go to ponder, and then join us next time. But the first question I would pose to you is, if you thought about your life in the context that your body would not die. So from now on, like, your body would remain like in its current, like it would remain at its at this age into the future forever. Like, how would that change your choices? Like, would you consider the implications of the choices that you make differently if you were going to have to live with them forever? Yeah, just like an interesting frame to consider. Not saying that that's what's going to happen or whatever, but it could happen, and it's worth thinking about.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, if anyone else has like a question to leave them with, then by all means jump in. But
I've got to
otherwise I
run.
feel complete.
Yeah.
Cool.
Alright.
Word.
All right.
Nice seeing you.
See you later.
We'll see you next time.